A California school teacher has just admitted that she married a man from Gaza specifically to get him American citizenship on a public Zoom webinar with the organization Code Pink. From a legal standpoint, how much trouble is this woman actually in?
Well, for one thing, it depends on whether she's actually applied for a green card for her husband yet. But if she has, as you said, it violates the Immigration Nationality Act, which is the INA, carries potential penalties of up to 5 years in prison and significant fines. And what the INA says is that the only legitimate purpose for getting married is to build a life together. And in this case, she says her purpose is to equalize the playing field between Israelis and Palestinians. Now, she didn't clarify exactly what she meant by that, but I think it's important to analyze that a little. The context was a speech to Code Pink, a webinar, which is a radical left-wing group that emphatically supports the October 7th massacre as an example of Palestinian resistance. Mm-hmm. That means that, now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that was the largest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. But what you might not know is that the pace of the killing was actually faster on a per-hour basis than what the Nazis achieved during the Holocaust. Had that continued, and it would have, because the attackers say that they wanted to, the only thing that stopped it was the fact that there isn't equivalence between Israel's defense and these terror organizations. Mm-hmm. What you're talking about when you say even the playing field, in the context of Code Pink, is a world in which Israel would not have the capacity to prevent that from continuing, and that world would be a permanent October 7th massacre.
Right. It is a fact that Utah allows virtual marriages. It is a fact that we're seeing a lot of Gazans apply for asylum, trying to get out of the country. Is there any legal argument that could be made in this case, or that this was a legitimate marriage, you could say, or is it absolutely dead at this point legally?
Yeah, well, Utah allows legal weddings, but of course there's more to a marriage than just the wedding, as anyone who's married knows. So the question is, I was looking at case law on this, and there have been cases where people were living together, cohabiting, building a life, then stopped living together, but still applied for a green card, and depending on the circumstances, maybe they were awarded it.
Right.
But I've not found a case yet where a couple had never even physically met, even after the wedding, and applied for a green card on that basis. So if it were awarded on this basis, it would be a first in American law. Not saying it's impossible, but it doesn't seem very likely.
She's a public school teacher who has openly admitted to using her classroom as means to advancing her own political agenda. Does a school district have the grounds to dismiss her? And what are the legal limits of what a teacher can do in the classroom?
Well, so first of all, the question only matters if the school wants to dismiss her. And the Canoga Park High School, which is the school here, has a long history in recent years of being emphatically progressive. And so it's possible that her approach is something that the school would welcome. And also the California legislature and California judges have been leaning very strongly progressive and strongly left. So it's very likely that the legal system and the school itself would not even attempt to fire her. But that if they did, in a private school, you could fire an employee for any reason. America has at-will employment. Right. In a public school, you're considered a government body.
Right.
So you have a First Amendment right. But if that First Amendment right begins interfering with your teaching in the classroom, then the public school could potentially fire you, not for your political opinion, but for interfering with the classroom and not following the curriculum and that sort of thing. But again, that only works if the school actually wants to fire you, which in this case, it probably doesn't.
Right. I mean, I'm certainly interested to see how far this story goes, because obviously it's become viral. We're seeing it being reported upon. The question is whether there are going to be any lawyers who choose to get involved in this, anybody who chooses to make a case against this woman. Out of principle. We're going to have to wait and see.
It wouldn't be private lawyers. It would be the Department of Justice and the immigration authorities. So if the government...
Which might be fired up enough, with this administration right now. We know that there are a lot of changes that the Trump administration is trying to make to the, path towards citizenship, for one.
I would guess under this administration, at the very least, he will not get a visa, and potentially she will end up facing charges.